I've been thinking today about winter, about what it does to a person when you really let it teach you. Not just survive it, but listen to it. See, winter don't apologize for what it takes away. The leaves fall, the fields go quiet. Everything that was green and busy just stops. And if you're the kind of person who measures your worth by how much you're doing, how much you're producing, well, winter's gonna sit you down real gentle and ask you why. I remember years back, I had this old barn, good barn, strong bones. But every winter I'd walk past it and see all the things I hadn't finished. Boards I meant to replace, a door that hung crooked, tools I'd been meaning to organize since spring. And I'd stand there in the cold, my breath hanging in the air, feeling like a failure, like the barn was looking at me, disappointed. Funny thing is, the barn didn't care. It was still standing, still doing its job. It was me putting all that weight on it, me turning every unfinished thing into evidence that I wasn't enough. You ever do that? Carry around a whole list of things you didn't get to and let them whisper to you that you're falling behind, that everyone else has it figured out and you're just stuck? Winter taught me something about that. It taught me that not everything is meant to be finished in the season you started it. Some things need to wait. Some things need to be left alone so they can settle, so you can settle. And that ain't failure, friend. That's wisdom. That's you finally learning to move with life instead of against it. I spent so many years thinking that rest was something you earned, that you had to push through, keep going, prove yourself first, and then, maybe, if you had time, you could sit down. But winter don't wait for permission. It just comes, and it stops everything. The whole world goes quiet, whether you're ready or not. And you know what happens when things stop? You start to hear yourself again. All that noise, the shoulds, the have-tos, the voices telling you you're not doing enough. It gets real quiet. And underneath it, there's this other voice, softer, truer. It's been there the whole time, but you couldn't hear it over all the striving. That voice says, you're allowed to be tired. It says, you don't have to fix everything today. It says, what you've done is enough. What you are is enough. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be sitting there with a whole list in your head, things that didn't go the way you planned, goals you set that slipped away, promises you made to yourself that you couldn't keep. And maybe you're carrying some guilt about that. Maybe you're wondering if you let yourself down, if you should have tried harder, done more, been better. Well, let me tell you something, and I mean this with everything I got left in me. The world wants you to believe that your value is in your output, that you're only as good as what you produce, what you achieve, how much you get done. But that's a lie designed to keep you running until you collapse. And I've seen good people believe it. I've watched them burn themselves down to ash trying to prove something that was never theirs to prove in the first place. You are not a machine. You are not a field that has to yield every season. You are a person, and people need winners. We need time when the soil of our soul goes fallow, when we stop producing and start healing, when we let the parts of us that got worn down have a chance to come back. I've seen folks who couldn't stop, couldn't let go. They kept pushing through burnout like it was a wall they could break if they just hit it hard enough. And you know what happens? They lose the very thing they were working so hard to protect. They lose their joy, their peace, the quiet moments that make life worth living. They lose the sound of their own heartbeat under all that noise. So if this year didn't go the way you thought it would, if you had to let some things go or change direction or just stop because you couldn't carry it anymore, that's not failure. That's not weakness. That's you being human. That's you listening to what your heart needed, even when the world told you to keep pushing. And that takes more courage than most folks will ever know. You know what I love about an empty barn in winter? It's honest. It don't pretend to be full. It don't apologize for the space. It just is. And come spring, when it's time, it'll be ready. But right now, it rests. It lets the cold air move through. It waits. And so can you. There's a kind of strength in stillness that the world don't talk about much. A kind of power in saying, not today, not yet, I need time. We're so afraid of falling behind, of missing out, of being left in the dust while everyone else races ahead. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Most of those folks racing are just as tired as you are. They're just too scared to stop. You don't have to be afraid of the stopping. The quiet won't swallow you. The stillness won't erase you. It'll remind you who you are underneath all the doing. It'll show you the parts of yourself you forgot were there. I spent a whole winter once doing nothing but sitting. Just sitting, watching the snow fall, watching the light change, letting my mind wander wherever it wanted to go. And at first it felt like failure, like I was wasting time. But slowly something started to happen. I started to remember things. Not memories exactly, more like parts of myself I'd left behind in all the hurry. The part that used to notice beauty. The part that knew how to be still without feeling guilty. The part that understood that life ain't a race to the finish line. It's a long, winding walk, and you're allowed to sit down along the way. Winter taught me gentleness, not just with the world, but with myself. It taught me that I didn't have to be perfect to be worthy, that I didn't have to have it all figured out, that I could be a work in progress for the rest of my life, and that would be just fine. And I wish somebody had told me that sooner. I wish somebody had sat me down and said, hey, you're going to mess up. You're going to start things you don't finish. You're going to change your mind. You're going to get tired and need to stop. And none of that makes you less than. None of that means you failed. So I'm telling you now, I'm sitting here by this fire and I'm looking you in the eye and I'm saying, you're allowed to be unfinished. You're allowed to be in process. You're allowed to rest before you're done. Because here's the secret they don't tell you. You're never going to be done. There's always going to be one more thing, one more goal, one more mountain. And if you wait till everything's perfect, till every loose end is tied up, till you earned your rest, you're going to wait forever. So take it now. Take the rest. Take the stillness. Let the winter wrap its arms around you and hold you till you remember that you are more than what you do. You are more than your productivity. You are more than your accomplishments or your failures or your unfinished fences. You are a person who deserves gentleness, especially from yourself. So here's what I want you to carry with you tonight as you head off to bed or back into your life or wherever this road takes you next. You don't owe the world your exhaustion. You don't have to finish everything before you're allowed to rest. And the things you think you've left undone, most of them can wait. And the ones that can't, well, they'll show themselves when it's time. But tonight, let yourself be still. Let the cold teach you that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Let the winter hold you the way it holds the fields, the way it holds the trees, with patience, with mercy, with the kind of love that don't demand anything in return. You've done enough, friend. You've carried enough. You've tried enough. You've been enough. And you will be tomorrow too, and the day after that. Not because of what you accomplish, not because of what you produce, but because you're here, because you're still breathing, because you're still trying, even when it's hard. That's all any of us can do, and it's more than enough. Now go on, rest easy, let yourself be held by the quiet. Let the winter do its work, and when spring comes, and it will come, you'll be ready, not because you forced it, but because you let yourself heal.